The UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights, Yanghee Lee, says the Myanmar army may be committing gross human rights abuses under the cover of a media blackout. Phone coverage has been blocked in 9 townships in Rakhine and Chin states with no access to the internet. Yanghee Lee has called for the government to restore that coverage. Yanghee Lee joins us live from Rome on Skype. Yanghee Lee, what do we think the Myanmar military may be doing?
Well, one can only guess what they're doing, but judging from past experience, in 2016 and 2017, when they called for a clearance operation, we know what happened. They drove out about 800,000 Rohingyas to Bangladesh. And now this is the first time they've ever declared an internet blackout. This worries me very much. And I think it should worry the international community as well.
Are they acting with impunity, and are they acting with the green light of the civilian administration?
Well, they are acting with impunity. But when it comes to clearance operations or any security issues, the civilian government has absolutely no power over the military under the current constitution. And therefore, that's why there is a need for a constitutional reform. But without a constitutional reform and the way the situation is now, the military and the security forces can do whatever they want under the name of national security.
So many people fled what happened 2 years ago. So many people now live in those permanent refugee camps across the border, Cox's Bazar, inside Bangladesh. How many people are left in Rakhine State to victimize in this way, if you've got it right?
Well, we really don't know the exact number of the Rohingyas left. There's an estimate of about 350 to 450 Rohingyas left. But I have to remind you that this clearance operation is not geared against the Rohingyas this time. It is geared against the Rakhine Buddhist community, all the civilians, and other ethnic minorities in the Rakhine state.
Have you relayed these claims or reports to the relevant military authorities inside Myanmar? And if you have, what was their reaction?
I haven't, because they do not engage with me. Myanmar wants me replaced, so they will not engage with me. But I have, through media statements and releases and other means, I have been able to, I'm sure they have seen or heard what I've said through media release and through Twitter and other social media.
Is there any other back channel conduit that you have at your disposal that you could maybe utilize to get these claims to them? Not necessarily to get a reaction, if only to get a confirmation or an outright denial.
I have no backdoor conduit to the military. I don't think anyone does have a backdoor conduit to the military.
People outside the region, pardon me for interrupting you, madam, but people outside the region might be thinking, well, where is Aung San Suu Kyi in all of this? Why are we not talking to her? Why is she not talking to the outside world about this?
I'd like to know that too. She had attended, or she is attending the ASEAN conference of the ministers, but she has not spoken out about the issue in Rakhine State when the Rohingyas were being driven out, and now with the ethnic Rakhine community, she has not said a word about protection of the civilians. And you know that in the past few months, civilians have been killed, they've been detained, they've been killed in detention, and children have been killed. And these are ethnic Rakhine and other minorities residing in Rakhine State. She has not said a word about these people either.
If you had the opportunity to direct a direct message at her now, what would that message be?
I would want her to see what is happening in the Rakhine State for yourself.
Why is this still happening in that northern Rakhine State? We started reporting on that story more than 2 years ago now, or 2 years ago now-ish. Then it was appalling. From what you're saying, you seem to believe it's still appalling and it's still happening. I mean, what's the mindset of the military? Is their go-to position a scorched earth scenario? Is that what they want to get to?
Oh, yes. We've seen it in the 90s in northern and eastern part of Myanmar, the scorched earth campaign. And we've seen it, we've witnessed it from different periods from 2012, 14, and 16, and 17, which was the climax of the scorched earth, what I've always called a hallmarks to genocide. And I will now like to say that this has been a genocide in the making, and it's still going on. But now these clashes and this blackout is not focused against the Rohingyas. It's focused against its own other ethnic minorities, the Rakhine minorities. They're not minorities, they are the majority in Rakhine State. And this really troubles me because now they're attacking other civilians or all civilians, whether they are Rohingyas or others. And we've seen this in Kachin. We're seeing this in Kachin and Northern Shan. There are still clashes. There's still internally displaced people. Right now, we have about 35,000 IDPs in the Rakhine State, which are not Rohingyas.
Okay, understood. Yanghee Lee, UN Special Rapporteur for Myanmar, many thanks.